The first technique I'm going to show you is the Mishima. Okay. So I've started the process here, so you can see this is a finished paper crane. And what I'm going to do is start you from the beginning. So what you're going to do is you can draw directly onto your clay if you're a doodler. Go ahead and draw directly onto it. If you're not, you can find copies of things online. You can find line art. You can make your own drawings. That's what I do, and I will Xerox them so that I can reuse them over and over again. So what you're going to do is find your art, doodle directly into the clay if you want to, but if you want to create or recreate an image, you can just trace onto your item just by using a pen or a pencil. And my cup here is at a leatherhard stage, so it's going to pick up the slight pressure from my pen and leave a little outline. Make I'll do this in a colored pen so I can see where I've gone over it in the past. Okay, and I'll make sure I've got all of my lines. Okay, and then I'll show it to the camera. You can see there's a real faint outline there. All right, so with that little outline, I'm gonna go back. I love using these mechanical pencils because they make pretty fine lines. I'll actually do this one. They make pretty fine lines, but like I was saying, if you're using a clay that's got some grog in it, you might want to use a regular pencil that has a little bit thicker lead to it, so you can get a little bit thicker drawing so the grog doesn't obliterate your fine lines. And when you're doing this line work, you want to make sure that you're pressing evenly and that you're pressing into there. You're making a nice incision. Okay. All right, so, and this is, I'm doing this on a, it's a fairly stiff leatherhard pot. I use a brush to push away all the burrs. And then what I'm gonna do is take my engobe. You should stir your engobe first. I did stir them earlier. I've got black engobe for this. And I'm going to brush over it to fill in those lines. So I don't have to cover the whole pot with the engobe. I'm just going to fill in where I've got my lines. And I'm going to go back and forth so that I'm pushing that engobe into those lines. Okay, I'm going to let that dry to the touch. So my pot's pretty stiff. So really in like 2 minutes, that should be dry to the touch. And then I'm going to put a second coat on top of this to fill it in. And then I'm going to wait for that to be dry to the touch. Once it's dry to the touch, I'm going to take a sponge and wring it out. It shouldn't be dripping. Wring it out, and I'm going to start wiping. And you can see as I'm wiping, I'm always kind of turning my sponge. I'm trying to find a clean area. And then when my sponge is dirty, I'm going to wring it out. Because if you don't find a clean area and you don't wring your sponge out frequently, what's going to happen is you're just going to smear all of this engobe across your pot. And you have to be really mindful when you're doing this, because if you wipe too much, you will wipe away the surface of the clay and then also wipe away your line work that you made if you didn't make your line work deep enough. So I'm just kind of clean up in small spots now. I'll just do one last clean sponge over the whole thing. Okay, so there, now I was able to get my line work to show up really nice and clean. The thing that I like about this technique is that it leaves a smooth surface. So if I wanted to do like poetry on the inside of a bowl or something, it would still give me a smooth surface. Okay, so that is Mishima. Okay, let's stop that for a second.